I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, March the 6th, and I've got to start this visit out, and I don't mean to play any favorites, but I've been acquainted with the family at Joplin Regional Stockyards for over 15 years. Been covered the market there countless times, graded cattle there, had talks there, used to write an article in their market paper there, and just always felt welcome and comfortable around the Joplin Regional Stockyards. And I think we just need to take a minute to think about some people. You know, the Lord, most of us believe the Lord won't give us more than we can handle, but He is testing out Bailey Moore. He's Jack's son there, and a few months back here suffered the untimely passing of his mother there, the matriarch of the stockyard, and Jack's wife. And then just within 2 weeks, Dr. Harold Haskins died, and he was a very good friend to many people in southwest Missouri, but none any more than Bailey. They had a special friendship there. And I tell you, those two losses would really take a toll on anybody, but this last one would just take the wind out of your sails. And this past weekend, Bailey's 7-year-old son Cash died from injuries on an ATV accident, and I don't know how man can suffer so much loss in such a short time, but it would be a deal, and I don't know if I could stand it. But if you folks get a chance out there, lift him up, would you? And we'll get on with the market report. You look at the board for Monday, June live cattle up 95 cents to end the day at 115.35. April up $1.05 at 123.22. April feeder cattle up $1.60, ending the day on Monday at 146.87. And it has the most play. Now your March, your spot futures there on your feeders up $1.47 to end the day at 145.15. Look at the weighted average and the roundup of last week's fat cattle trade with 89,500 head, and that's probably healthy for where we're at. We're still in real tight market ready supplies, so that's not too bad. But you look at the weighted average price on last week's trade in the 5 area feeding region. Your live steers had an average price of 126.76, so that shows you how much 127 was out there, nearly all in the northern plains though. But that was $1.19 lower than weighted average from the previous week. Your dress steers averaged 204.21, and that was 48 cents lower. But we hope that there wasn't any trade $2 or $3 lower with a higher market on this Monday. We sure don't think there was, and we haven't heard anything. But why don't we just let the Northern Plains negotiate our trade this week? They've got really tight numbers up there. They've been able to hold that dress market up there. They're digging in hard. And they've got extra demand coming from way out west, coming in and picking on their cattle. They've got more regional packers in there, but you know, let's just hang out till late in the week and let them settle it for us, and the rest, everybody else can fall right in. But you look at the feeder market on Monday, at the end of the day, your real-time index based on the 800-pound steer setting at 144.12. That was down 42 cents from the end of last week. Your CME cash feeder cattle index, which the last time it come out was Friday, sitting all the way up at 145.44, and so you can look for that thing to shave quite a bit off here in the next couple of times it comes out. But look at your high volume markets on Monday there. Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City had 7,200 head, which wouldn't be too bad of a run, but most of us were expecting that run to be a whole lot bigger because of the mud and the weather. The previous sale only had 2,600 head, and you would have figured that would have been what lacked on that last sale would have been on top of this one. But just not much of a wheat run this year. This time of year, we've already seen it as the wheat played out quite a bit, several weeks ago, and then now we've had some moisture on that, and they would have had to pull those cattle off that, or they'd have trumped it all out by now too. But just not much of a March wheat run. Normally your typical grazing season on wheat is through March 15th, so that would be coming up here pretty fast, but we're sure not looking for a stampede of cattle to come off of that. In fact, we're looking for a lot more of them to be going back out on the wheat as things start to dry up a little bit, as now we're seeing this wheat start to come on, even though we didn't even see any of it there for the most part, looking at what it's been the last several weeks. But there'll be some graze out wheat, and these stalkers and light calves are really charging up there. Your feeder cattle in Oklahoma City, steady to $3 lower. There's just not a lot of drive on them. There's not much pen space out there, and we are having declining numbers of big feeders, but nobody needs a whole lot of them because they don't have a place to put them. Your stocker cattle steady to $3 higher. Your light calves seeing a big push there, $2 to $5 higher, and they've been getting higher. And a lot of guys will maybe get those light calves straightened up, put them on some graze out wheat, and then move them to grass later. That'd be a pretty nice life for a growing animal right there. But you look at McCook, Nebraska, up in the northern plains, steady to $2 lower, but still a pretty good sale. And Joplin Regional Stockyards on Monday, the show must go on. They had 8,000 head there on this Monday. Steers and heifers there steady to $3 lower. Look at an individual quote on Monday in McCook, Nebraska. Actually had 2 loads of 964-pound steers sell at $142, and that was quite a bit higher than most of the upper 8 weights in most places on Monday. But that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.